What's up, Internet? We are here with Trinity, the Souls of Zill. That's hard to say. This is a game I don't know anything about, really. I know that there was a few other Zill games out there. I don't think any of them came to North America. I think one might have made it to Europe. But I think this is a game that's pretty incredibly underdocumented, because I certainly don't know a lot about it. If Sony's infrastructure wasn't completely shit and crashed my PS3 every time I tried to open a friends list, I could show you that on my friends list, which, you know, isn't huge, but only one person on my entire friends list has ever even played this game, and that was someone who wanted to play every single RPG on the system. I wanted to play this game for the longest time, for that exact reason myself. I was really desperately trying to get every RPG on the PS3, and I was doing pretty good up until, like, that one year where Nippon Ichi released, like, 8 RPGs, and I still haven't played Witch in 100 Night, and I'd like to at some point, but I digress. This is a game that was really hard to get a hold of, and I actively went out of my way to try and get this back at launch, and this was just a game that no one stocked, and no one would let you pre-order either. And I only can think of one other game on the PS3 that was like that, and that was, going back to the start of my entire channel, 3D Dot Game Heroes. It was just like this really obscure game that no one ever got in stock, no one would let you order, no one ever placed any orders for. It was a ghost of a game, effectively. The only other thing I know about this is when I started this up, I saw the Omega Force logo, and that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, but I do want to play this. It's a game I've been wanting to play for a very long time, and I do want to play all the RPGs on this goddamn system, so let's see what this is all about. Hey, Sly. I'm playing a game I know absolutely nothing about. But, like, this whole game, it's just weird, because it felt like there was no game that came out around that time that was impossible to get a hold of at launch. Like, you could always at least pre-order stuff. This game you couldn't, and it's very strange. So I'm curious to see what Omega Force will do when they're not making Dynasty Warriors, and I'm hoping that it's good. Well, it's dubbed. That's more than most Omega Force games nowadays. Okay, attack with all the buttons. Okay. I'm guessing this is like an in medias res. This is close to the end of the game, so we're actually gonna, like, go back in time and not have superpowers. It does feel a little bit Dynasty Warriors-y, but at the same time, it feels like there's at least some meat behind your attacks. There's like a weird sort of like, almost sort of like oil filter over the camera, though, which is a little peculiar. I don't know if this game is good. I only know of one other person who's ever even played this game. I hope it's good. I spent some money on it. It's, oh, I don't want to place the big slow guy. I'm assuming the lady's faster, which is good, because I like the fast characters. But I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. It does honestly remind me a little bit of Drakengard. Like, in the sense that it's sort of Dynasty Warriors-y, but it's more actively being an RPG, so let's try this move. This might actually be kind of good, which is probably the most complimentary thing I can say about anything Omega Force has ever done. I ended up paying about $50 for this. And this game, I think, goes for about $120 nowadays. Although I did get a PAL copy, so it's probably slightly cheaper. But this is one of the PS3 games I still really wanted to get. I think there's about like 30 or so PS3 games that are still on my list. Some of them ungodly expensive. Like Railfan, I think that game is about $500 now. And there was a City Builder that was only available in Japan, but it was a very, very playable game I'd like to get at some point. Okay, so let's do a Soul Burst. I'm not seeing anything that really tells me to do a soul burst, like, well, other than the thing that tells me to do a soul burst, obviously, but it's a beholder. Okay, when a powerful attack hits an enemy while a rush sign on the enemy will be thrown off balance. Okay. I feel like that was probably not worded well. Let's swap characters and do this guy now. But I saw this for about $50. I knew that this game was really hard to find, and I'm sure it's going to get more expensive because, you know, well, last year, like, there was that Sony crackdown, and let's be completely honest, that's still going to happen. The PSN store is going down at some point. They haven't said when, but they're actively making it harder to buy anything. Like, now you can't even buy anything with a credit card on it. You have to buy a gift card and then put it on your PS4 and then access your account on the PS3 to buy stuff on it. It's so awkward. You got Arno Surge. That's one I really want to play. That one is ungodly expensive. I don't think I've seen a copy of that for less than $100. That's a game I really want to play because I have such a passion for the Artonal Eco games, even though I only have one of them. That's a series I really want to get more into. I'm not sure how I feel about this weird filter over the camera. But I will say it's more enjoyable than any Dynasty Warriors game. So our character is Ares. The PAL version of Arno Surge is cheaper, is it? I'll have to take a look. I don't have a ton of money right now, but I would like to get it at some point. That's definitely a big one for me. Okay, so dodge is R1. And now we get to do the tutorial again, but now we don't have all the fancy shit. I feel like that was weird. Like, why do that? Give me one or the other. Don't give me both. Yeah, shipping cost is a big issue. I've noticed that, like, even Skylanders, which weigh nothing and therefore shouldn't cost much, cost like $30 to ship at least. It's like, really? Damn it. But I've got some rare and expensive PS3 games. Like, I've got 3D Dot Game Heroes, going back to the first video I ever made. I'm that weird nutbar who has a physical copy of Ranko Sugahime's Longest Day. Which, I've thought about making a video on that, just because it's so bloody weird. I've got Under Defeat, which is a pretty good one to have. I think between the PS3 and Xbox 360, there's about maybe 50 more games I want to collect for them. But they are getting so hard to find. And that's assuming they ever came out here at all. If they didn't, they're a lot more expensive. I will say the filter effect, I'm looking at the playback on my computer, the filter effect on the screen doesn't really seem to be coming through, but there's like this weird like filter over the footage that makes it look very, very swimmy. Almost like there's like a noise distortion over all the image. But you probably wouldn't notice it unless you like really blew it up on a big TV or something, or you were sitting as close to the screen as I was. But I feel like I'm playing in a painting of like Paper Mario or something. There's a lot of really cool RPGs around this time that I don't think too many people talk about. Like, I don't think I've heard too many people talk about Infinite Undiscovery on the 360. That's a pretty interesting RPG. Lots of talk about Lost Odyssey, but never Infinite Undiscovery. Or Magna Carta 2. Never heard anyone talk about that one. That's one I want to play. And I do have a copy. I'm not sure if it works, though. The music seems a lot louder than the voice acting. Oh god, playing Alone in the Dark 5. That's the 2006 piece of shit, isn't it? I have a copy of that. Weirdly enough, I thought about playing that recently too. It's like, why do I want to play this though? I played it for about 15 minutes and I was sick of it. Oh, speaking of, I should be able to get to your next Steam game soon. I've just been working on something Vermilion sent me forever ago, and I felt bad about not doing it sooner. But that should be done soon, hopefully. I played that on 360. That is such a bad game. I don't even think it's like fun, like in a goofy way. It's just bad. Just terrible. Okay, so you're definitely the villain. I'll let you pick when we get there. I'm sorry it's taken this long. I've been sitting on this RPG Vermilion sent me for about a year, just intimidated to even start it, and now I've played it, and I really like it. I think I've sunk about 50 hours into it so far, and I'm only at the final dungeon now. And apparently there's 2 sequels to it on Steam already that I really want to play now. And next week there's a new game in the series coming out that I'm gonna have to get, even though I have no money. Oh, that's right, you did send me Tokyo Xanadu. I do have to do that one too. There's that one, there's Edgy Witcher, there's Garfield Kart, and there is Flashback, if I recall. Okay, the arena. Next year's small band, don't disappoint crowd. Okay. Hacky slashy. See, one of the things I really dislike about Dynasty Warriors is that nothing about your attacks ever felt weighty. Like, I complained about this with the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games when I first made my Zeta Gundam videos. Like, it didn't feel like you were fighting robots, it felt like you were fighting pieces of wet paper. You could kill things with single slashes, and it was like, what was the point of that? Nothing had weight. This at least feels like you've got a little bit more impact. But the funny thing is, like, I hate Dynasty Warriors with such a passion, but I love all the Dynasty Warrior knockoffs, like 99 Nights, Blade Storm, Drakengard. Those games are great. I just think that Omega Force is creatively bankrupt, and not just because they keep releasing Dynasty Warriors 2 over again. I mean, hell, they sell Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends complete, and yet you still have to pay an extra several $100s for all the DLC because somehow that's not complete. The funny thing is, I keep wanting to go back and try Dynasty Warriors. Like, because I love the Earth Defense Force games so much, and I hear the same complaints levied against it that I have against Dynasty Warriors. It's like, oh, well, it's boring, and it does the same thing over again, and it's not interesting. But the thing about Earth Defense Force is it's not creatively bankrupt. There's a sense of progression. You get all sorts of wacky new abilities every time you kill a monster. There's challenge to it. And aside from the fact that it's a budget series that no longer has a budget price, you know, it's actually genuinely got passion put behind it. I think Omega Force is just inherently very, very creatively bankrupt. But every now and then I'll try and play Dynasty Warriors and just it's painful to try. So this is our cutscenes. We're in a visual novel. Awesome. But I don't know. Sengoku Basara, another rare PS3 game I actually own. I remember that one being pretty good as well. I should play that one at some point. It does look like a cheap visual novel. Well, you better pick him up too, and all those other people. Because they just fell on their faces, it's fine. On the bright side, no matter how bad this is, it won't be the worst RPG on the system. Because I'm not even counting mages as an RPG. I mean that's objectively terrible, but stuff like Cross Edge exists. Stuff like White Knight Chronicles exists. As much as I hate it. So this can't be worse than those games. I find that impossible. But I'm not gonna say it's the best RPG I've played on the system just yet. Well, thinking about what is the best RPG I've played on the system. I mean, Dark Souls immediately comes to mind, as does Demon Souls. The one Artonal Eco game I've ever played was actually quite good on there, from what I remember, as was Tales of Zillia. Not really any of the other Tales games on the system, with maybe the exception of Symphonia, even though you got to see a lot of its issues. Trinity Universe was pretty okay. As was the second and third Neptunia game. This guy's about to Roy Fokker. He's dead already. He's been shot in the back. Just get him some pineapple salad. It'll be fine. Actually, speaking of Infinite Undiscovery, the young version of our character reminds me of the protagonist from Infinite Undiscovery. That game had such a weird premise to it. He's already been shot in the back. I don't think he's going to be that much of a challenge. Where did he get that bow from exactly? Mass Effect 2 was okay. I liked it better than 3, and I think out of all the Mass Effects it's the best one, but I don't know. If we're talking strictly Western things, I think Kingdoms of Amalur was way better. Not that anyone played it. But yeah, Mass Effect 2 was quite good. I was thinking about this earlier today. It's like there really hasn't been a good Tales of game since Zillia. I know a lot of people like Arise, but I don't know, that one. It was better than Berseria. I'll say that much. I'm not sure that's a good thing, though. I was actually thinking about that yesterday, too. Is Divinity 2 on the PS3? I don't think it is in North America. I think if you want a console version of Divinity 2, you need the the 360. But I know there was some like weird games that were only available on like some versions of some consoles. Like for some reason only in some regions, but you could find a copy of Vampire Rain on the PS3, and only in Japan could you find a copy of Fatal Inertia. And I think there was a Altered Beast sequel on the PS3 that was only available in some regions. But I don't think it was available in North America, Divinity 2 anyway. That game was quite good though. Like if I were to list like my favorite Western released RPGs around this time that weren't like in the AAA space, Kingdoms of Amalur would probably be my first pick. Second would, depending on how you want to classify it, maybe Dragon's Dogma. And then Divinity 2 DKS easily. I don't know how I feel about Divinity though, because I played a little bit of I can't even think what the more recent one is, the weird isometric turn-based one that everyone loves, and I could not stand that game. And I think part of it is, and it's weird, but I don't like games with a top-down perspective. It sounds like such a you know, superficial thing to get bothered by, but when you look directly at the ground, you get such a small perspective about what the world is like. It makes the world feel significantly smaller than it is. Oh yeah, what's your funny story about Dragon's Dogma? I've got one too, actually. And by funny, I mean it enrages me to no end. In my story about Dragon's Dogma, I got it day one, played the shit out of it, loved everything about it, beat the game to 100%, and I'm still missing one achievement because it glitched. And I don't care about achievements, but I'm OCD, so seeing that I'm missing one of that set, that bugs me. And it was a story mandatory thing you get very early on. It's just, it bugged itself out, and I can't play it to 100% now. I think at one point I tried to download the Japanese PS3 MMO Dragon's Dogma sequel. I don't think I ever bothered playing it though. These are not the best cutscenes. I will say that it definitely feels like they didn't put much effort into this, which is weird because they clearly have cutscenes where they're willing to put money in. And I wonder if this is because they didn't want to hire voice actors or something, or you know, pay voice actors for more characters and more words. Or something, I don't know. I don't think these are voiced lines. Nope. Although the voice dialogue in this is very, very quiet. So you tried to make a sexy sidekick and you picked the wrong voice. See, the funny thing is when I made my I can't even think of what your sidekick is called in there. I made it after the lead female character from my first game, and I always had this picture in my head of what my characters sound like, and I had this perfect voice actress that actually matched exactly what this character sounded like. And when I played Dragon's Dogma, she actually was one of the voice actresses you could apply to that. So it was like I was actually having an adventure with a character I created many years ago from a game I made, and that's very cool. Yes, we'll buy the new sword that has... I do like that there seem to be like little passive buffs, like causes damage to enemies in a break state, restores HP with successful attacks. I'm wondering if we can upgrade that stuff, or if that's just random stuff that's applied to it, so you have to get like a better weapon to do stuff like that. I care not for these cutscenes. Okay. Lost a gold necklace in the cave of white sand. I want to try Dragon's Dogma as well, just because I know they updated it. Like there's the Dark Arisen version now, whereas I played just the straight up original version. I'm not sure what Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen actually adds, but I would like to give that a shot at some point. I know it was a really, really good game, and I was actually thinking about you when I was thinking about this game, is Sacred 2. Because I think there's like a multiplayer version of that, and I think that'd be fun to play with you on Steam. And I remember spending so much time with Sacred 2. Okay, so we've got this thing. Pay registration. I'm only half paying attention to this crap because these cutscenes suck. Like, the hacky slashy beat 'em up bits are fun, but this bits is less good. I'm not level 8, I can't do this. So I guess we're not doing that. Okay, let's go to the tavern. Maybe this is where we meet the person who hired us. These people are possibly racist because I'm only half elf, I think. Oh, you know, it was a really good RPG around this time that I wasn't even thinking about? Nier. Nier was a really good game. Sacred 2 is pretty good. Like, I really dislike Diablo, but similar to Dynasty Warriors, I like the knockoffs, and Sacred 2 was a really good knockoff of it. And I think there is like an online component to it, so it might be worth playing it at some point. I think I do have a Steam version of it. But I remember spending a lot of time playing that on my Xbox 360 and getting really invested in it. Do I go to the Mage Guild? Is this where I buy and sell stuff? Okay, I don't care about this. I just want to get to this quest that... Oh, exit. I see. Okay, so... we have to select the area to go do the thing. We don't actually get to do the thing or wander the place. It's entirely menu-based. Okay. Weirdly enough, I have a DLC expansion disc for the PC version of Sacred 1, but I don't have Sacred 1. I've never played it. I think Nier was really awkward for a lot of people, so no one really gelled too well with it. I stuck with Nier. I liked it well enough. I thought it was weird that, like, the entire opening of the game doesn't make sense until, like, literally the final cutscene, though. Also, I'm a big Drakengard fanboy, so I'm obligated to like Nier. But, you know, it bugs me that they've remade it. And people say it's a sequel to Nier Automata. It's like, no, it's not. It's a predecessor. And this will blow your mind, but Nier Automata wasn't a standalone game. There's 5 of those bastards. And I own all of them. Except the Japanese version of the previous Nier, which is identical to the North American version, minus a character change. But I liked Nier a lot. That was a cool game. I'm kind of sad it didn't catch on. Because I do think it was a very cool game that could stand to have been more successful. I've never actually played Drakengard 3, though. That's a game I'd like to play at some point. I do own it both digitally and physically, because I'm that weirdo. I really want to get the Deception game on the PS3. I want to get the Deception games, period. I've since well before I was able to get PS1 games, I've always wanted to get Deception 2, because I saw someone stream it on Justin TV well back in the day. Yeah, the opening to Nier where you fight as that weird random version of the character, except it's not that guy. That doesn't get explained until literally the end. And then the weird thing is that, like the Drakengard games, there's about 6 endings, so you gotta play New Game Plus to figure them out, and the funny thing is, like, New Game Plus starts you about 60% the way through the game, and then, like, adds a bunch of weird cutscenes before every chapter where you see, like, stuff from the random mob's perspective for some reason, to humanize them or something. I don't know how those games still existed after all the lack of success, I don't want to say failure, but lack of success they saw. Like, you can't find sales numbers for the Drakengard series. They were that bad that they're just kind of like a closely guarded secret in Japan, which is saying something. How do I open this? Got some recovery medicine. But I like Nier. I get why a lot of people don't. But I thought it was interesting and I wanted to play more of it. I just wish the rest of the series got respect that it deserves, because the fact is, Drakengard is a really quite cool series that deserves a lot more respect than it gets, and recognition. Which I guess to me says I should probably actually get off my ass and do my job and talk about those games at some point. Okay, when the gauge displays the upper left full, press L, R1 to do Soul Blast. If you attack an enemy with Soul Blast, blue orbs will appear. Heal HP. Additionally, if you defeat an enemy with Soul Burst, you will receive more experience. Okay. So basically, watch that little green gauge in the corner. And I'd use it right now, but we're about to run out of enemies to use it on, so that seems like a waste. You know, I was thinking about streaming End of Eternity, because that's such a weird game that no one knows anything about. Like, it's not good, but I remember the day I got it, I played it really hardcore for about an evening, and then didn't touch it until I made a gameplay video where I played the first chapter again and haven't touched it since. It's, at best, a footnote. At best. Actually, you know what was a really good game that no one talks about, and it's actually getting really rare? Folklore. Folklore. No one talks about Folklore, and it's actually getting really expensive. I don't know if it's an RPG, but one game I'd like to get on this system is Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom, as well as El Shaddai. Both those games are pretty hard to find. I've been meaning to get those for forever, but they're not easy to find. Okay, so now let's try this. Alright, there we go. So there's a glowy. I'm guessing I don't want to fall into the quicksand, but I'm about to. Actually, I'm not sinking, so it's fine. Found the gold necklace, so now we should be able to leave. Okay, so they're not just going to teleport us out of here. Also, they're going to throw scorpions at us, because why not? Yeah, I saw that you could get El Shaddai on Steam, which is pretty cool. I kind of want the console version, though, just because I'm that weirdo. You know, the funny thing is, the only Star Ocean game I've actually played is 3. And I have every single goddamn version of 3, and I hate 3. Every time I think of 3, it's like, oh, I'd like to play that again. And it's like, I remember the twist. And then I say, yeah, no, I don't. I don't. Forget Star Ocean 3. With, what was it, Fate Line God? It wasn't the worst main character name I've heard. What was, I think there was one RPG, I can't remember which it was, but there was a character named Edge Maverick, which was such a stupid name. But Fate Line God is a pretty bad protagonist name. But yeah, there's quite a few games on the PS3 that I think need better recognition. It's kind of why now I have to post this on our Discord, but I've moved all my shelves into my other rooms, so now I should be able to start working on more collection videos. And for the umpteenth time, I'm thinking about recommending either like the full Game Boy series or PS3 because I think both are very interesting. But I also have just a lot of weird physical PS3 games most people don't know about. Yeah, and then there's that new Star Ocean that's coming out. I'm halfway tempted to try and get it. I don't know if I'm going to, though. I'm also tempted to get Valkyrie Elysium, but I hear it's not going to be very good. Based on, like, some demos people played. I'm not sure if the demo's on PS5, so I'm not sure if I can play it. If it is, I should check it out, but... Like, that's a game I'd be interested in, is the new Valkyrie profile game, because I've never played any of those games, and they're really bloody hard to find. I'd really like to play Star Ocean 2, but it's the only one that hasn't been remade in English yet for the modern consoles for some reason. I never played Star Ocean on the PS3 or PS4. What was that one game? Enchanted Arms. I never got a chance to play that. That's one I'd like to get as well on the Xbox. Okay, we want to go this way. So they're trying to sort of get back to Star Ocean 2. Interesting. At least in terms of quality and mechanics. That's interesting. I think I once heard that Star Ocean 2 had like this weird thing where you could hang out with your party members in like off time, but if you did it with one specific character, you made the final boss infinitely harder for some reason. I think that was Star Ocean 2. I remember hearing that about it, which seems like such a weird idea. Like just, nope, I'm just gonna not spend time with my teammates. Screw that. I really want to try Enchanted Arms. I think you gotta get, like, the 360 version, though, because I think it plays better than the PS3 version. I remember back in the day, like, when you could actually find these games, every place had, like, 12 copies of Enchanted Arms, and I just never bothered to buy a copy. I kind of regret it. Although I don't think it's one of the most highly sought-after games, either. Part of me wants to go back and try and play Lost Odyssey as well. Like, I have a copy, but I got stuck on, like, the second boss in that game, and it just did not gel very well with me. And I have Last Remnant, and I swear I played it, but every time I think of Last Remnant, I just think of Lost Odyssey and Infinite Undiscovery, so I don't know what I played in that game. Yeah, I think what happened is, like, you did all these, like, private actions, and then it just unlocked the final boss that did something to his connection to one of the party members that, like, removed a safety limiter that makes him, like, infinitely harder or something like that. I think that's an interesting idea, but I think that's punishing someone for, like, trying to do completionist stuff is dumb on a fundamental level. But I still want to try that game. I've heard if you only play, like, one Star Ocean game, Star Ocean 2 is the one to play. And I'm pretty interested in it. There's quite a few games coming out that I'm kind of interested in. Like, next week there's the new Legend of Heroes game I like to play. There's of course, Valkyrie Elysium. I actually have like a whole pop-up of a bunch of Amazon things that I've got. Let's see. Kamiwaza is getting an English release for some reason, and that's one of my favorite PS2 imports, so I gotta get that. Star Ocean, there's a new Bayonetta. Never actually bothered playing Bayonetta 2. I own it, but I never played it. Then Square Enix is releasing like this weird sort of knockoff Rune Factory that looks pretty good as well. And then maybe Pokemon, if I'm really lacking anything to play, but I don't know. I think the only game right now I'm really interested in is the new Legend of Heroes game. Like, I'm kind of interested in Valkyrie Elysium, but I just hear it's apparently going to be very bad based on some demo stuff people have played, so I don't know. Not only do I not like the franchise of Harry Potter, I don't like the person who made Harry Potter for a lot of reasons. But you know, if you enjoy Harry Potter and stuff, all the more power to you. I've played a few of the games, I've reviewed a few of the games, but that's mostly because Nico shoved them in front of my face and made me play them. I still don't know how the first game glitched the way it did. They gave me cards. I wanted to look at the cards, and it threw me into a weird bugged fight where I was fighting two of myself, and the entire game freaked out. Actually, the funny thing is, I think I have, like, 5 or 6 different Harry Potter games. I should actually read those quests. How much money do I have? Let's see if we can buy some new shit. I don't care about this. Go away, people. If you're not coming at me in an actual cutscene, go away. Alright, so Longsword of Butchery. That's cool. Plus damage to beasts. Okay, so let's see. Nothing. That's not worth it. Damage received in critical health. That's not that great. Damage inflicted when in critical health. That's actually not too bad. And I'm guessing that's whatever MGR is. Magic resistance, maybe? Can I compare some stuff? I don't think I've seen a there it is, okay. I thought that the second one was definitely better than the first one. The first one was, first of all, a horrible buggy mess, although the second one is too, but the first one was just structured in a very stupid way. Alright. Increases speed of normal attacks and increases damage to beasts. That one decreases speed of normal attacks, though, so that one actually swings slower, so let's grab that. That sounds better, yeah. Let's equip that. I think I have the Quidditch game on GBA. Okay, so I still don't know what SPR is, nor do I know what MGR is, but this gives me plus 21, so let's grab this. I'm guessing magic resistance. Let's check the menu. Let's see if there's data. Data. Glossary. Here we go. That's not helpful. Help. Do you have any stats? Stats. Burnable objects, save point, basic controls. Gain experience, automatic HP recovery. Rush, assign, break. None of these things actually tell you any of the, like, stats stuff. That's not great. Okay, so we do know that we have attack, defense, spur, and mugger, whatever that is. Like, MGR, I would assume, is magic resistance. SPR, your guess is as good as mine. Like, if it's SPD, that's clearly speed, but okay, so collect crap. None of this is actually explaining anything, so we're just going to have to assume stuff works out well. Okay, so let's leave. and go to some places and do some stuff. Okay, so we actually, I think, have quests in 2 locations. One in this spring and one in this place. So let's start with this place. Since we've already been there, we at least have a good handle on the location. I don't think we have a teammate this time, which is concerning. But we'll make do. Yeah, I've got one of the GBA games. I've got 2 GBC games. I think I have a couple Xbox games as well. How do I... Ah, okay, so for some reason we have to cycle through... Okay, we got a bracelet. Can we equip that to ourselves? Yes, we can. Alright. There are 4 types of equipment. Weapons, bracers, rings, and talismans. There are 4 types that correspond with the 4 character stats. Okay, so attack power, defense power, spirit, and magic resistance. Okay. So attack is basic attack, defense is defense, spirit is damage dealt by magic attacks. Okay, fair enough. It's weird I had to do this through here. Okay, the marked split of is rarity, unique, denotes valuable items that have special name. Got it, so there's rarity system. Okay, so that's significantly better. Let's grab that. Oh, hold on. Hold on. That's cool, you can change your outfit. I'm betting that's DLC. I'm not even sure you can get any more. What with Sony's infrastructure and store system being shit. Thanks, Sony. Way to go. Okay, so we're out of combat, which means we should be healing. Except that we're not out of combat now, even though we were a second ago. The thing says you'll heal when you're out of combat. I'm not... There we go. I was going to say, I'm not seeing anyone around. Okay. Roll. Throw that. Roll. It seems like there's a way to slot in new attacks on your palette, which means you can kind of create your own custom combos a little bit from the looks of it, although I don't think we really have much available to us. So we have action and passive skills. Ooh, we got passives. Nice. Up to 6 skills can be set in battle. Nice. Up to 2 sets can be made and swapped. Something. Release ice mist that frees certain percent of enemies. Also freeze water. Okay. So that might actually have, like, environmental exploration uses. So let's see what this is like. Okay. So we're not running into any enemies just yet. Until now. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ice on fire. That works. Okay. Quit firing arrows at me, you jerks. Ha! Oh, I see a chest. A chest I have now decided is mine. Oh, flop. Yeah. Yeah! Oh, get down here, you jerks. How am I supposed to hit you up there? Can I jump up there somehow? I mean, there's a chest over there. How the hell am I supposed to get that? Oh god. Oh god. Oh no. Ow. Okay. I guess we're testing the game over system. Restart. How does the restart act? It starts... Oh, I gotta set up my palette again if I want to use that ice thing. Which... Granted, I don't really care all that much. I don't like playing a magey character in too many games. Like, I can think of, on one hand, how many games I like that involve me playing a mage. And it's Two Worlds 2. And maybe Kingdoms of Amalur. Mage characters never appeal to me. At all. Like, they're just the antithesis of how I like playing RPGs. Okay. Boop. Hot. Okay, to be fair, I can set the tumbleweeds on fire. I don't know if that makes them, like, damaging to anything, but it's a neat little feature. I'll give them credit for that. Not much, maybe, but some credit. Okay. Okay, well, they are attacking me from back there, but if I pull back, will they follow me, or will I heal up? Okay, we'll heal up. Let's hang out here for a sec, then. It's true, you usually want to play characters that, you know, play direct combat. But I fundamentally dislike mages. Like, I don't like having to wait to attack. And you know, as someone who's actually, you know, studied martial arts and how to actually, like, properly sword fight, you know, I've always just felt a lot of natural kinship with just getting up close and personal with my opponents. It's always just, you know, felt better to me. It's felt more real to who I am and just how my brain works. Plus, I play a lot of MMOs, and, like, MMOs usually get, like, 3 classes. You're either the melee guys who can usually handle things on their own, the mages who are unbelievably slow and die a whole bunch unless they have a party, or you're the guys with bows who do nothing well and are useless at pretty much everything. Because they don't do half as much damage as the mages, and they don't protect themselves at all, so they're effectively the most useless class of all. I've never understood why anyone would ever play, like, a ranger class in an MMO. That just makes no sense to me. Alright, we found the requested mysterious magic liquid. Piranha Bytes sounds familiar. I'm sure I've played some of their games, but I couldn't tell you which ones. Wait. Did they do Elix? I played Elix. And I played the class that had the black hole grenade things. Actually, I played Elix 2 earlier this year, and I've completely forgotten about that game. I feel bad about that, because I really liked Elix 1. I really hate having to use a bow in anything. Like, Arcania, Gothic 4, the game that was so bad that they had to get the actual series title removed because they were going to get sued for how low quality it was. They kind of made you play as a bow a little bit, and I hated it. Yeah, Risen. I've never actually played the Risen games. I've always wanted to. Those are games I'd like to play. But I played the shit out of Elix. And Elix was such a janky game, but if you could get past the fact that you could spawn in an area and fall through the floor to your death, if you could get past that, it was actually not too bad. That said, if we're talking like janky Western releases for RPGs, I think Spiders had some pretty good releases. Speaking of, I've actually been playing a lot of Steel Rising, which is a pretty good game. Although, they messed up on their title. Steel Rising is such a stupid title, and they could have called it Bastille. They could have. The freaking thing's on the cover. Missed opportunity, Spiders. Also, they're going to make a Greedfall 2, which I'm excited about, because I liked Greedfall 1, even though the story was dumb. Steel Rising is, it's a very easy game, but it's a pretty fun game. I will say that if there's one thing that really bugs me about Steel Rising, and it's such a superficial thing, I don't think there's any like way to make your character look particularly good. I don't like powdered wigs, and I don't like any of the styles they give your character in this game. But it's a fun game. It's got some cool abilities. Yeah, I kind of want to try Technomancer as well, but I don't think it's very good. I also have, was it Fairy Legends of Avalon? I think I have that downloaded on my my 360, but I've never played it. But I think I pretty much have all of Spider's back catalog at this point. But Steel Rising's pretty good. Don't play it for the story, because the story is bad. It mostly follows a lot of people that you probably don't care very much about. Like, I'm not the most well-versed in the French Revolution, I will admit. But I will just point out that most of the story just follows a bunch of people you kind of run into, and then you kind of, like, watch some backstory from their lives, and that's kind of what you're stuck with. And it's like, well, this isn't interesting. These characters aren't interesting. It's not making me want to actually look at who these people are in history. Assassin's Creed, for everything it did wrong, sometimes at least got that right. But, yeah, I don't think that Steel Rising is a game you play for the story, but I think it's a pretty solid little Dark Souls-like game, and if you're not very good at them, it's a very easy one. Fairy's turn-based, that's interesting. I don't know how that would work, considering every other Spiders game I've played is real-time in some way, shape, or form, although they're all, like, usually very horribly balanced. Like, the gun in Greedfall is the beat the game button. Actually, conversely, the gun you get pretty much at the start of Steel Rising is the beat the game button for a very long time. Because you can just take out the first boss without ever being hit, because it's ridiculously weak to status affliction, which your gun does for some reason. Oh, I can do Soul Burst. Let's Soul Burst. But Steel Rising's pretty good. If you take it as sort of a like B-grade budget sort of game, it's way better than it has any right to be. At least gameplay wise. I quite liked it. Although I will say I also broke the game a whole bunch of different ways. Like, I ended up getting to a really late game area very early because I jumped on a fountain and then jumped on a fence and then just walked on the fence and jumped over a locked gate that had no hitbox to it above it. And then I got out of there basically by doing that a second time, going in the opposite direction. And I ended up skipping a boss that way and getting some late game gear. I will say Steel Rising is not the most well put together game. There's a lot of different... I think it'd be a great speedrun game just because I've found... And I'm an idiot who probably can't figure out all these like in-depth stuff, but I managed to find all these like weird ways to skip past bits. And significant bits, too. I like Steel Rising well enough. I think that would probably be a Lagoon Award winner this year. Man, I'm thinking about my Game of the Year list, and I'm struggling. Because I know back in February, I think I had 3, maybe 4 titles in contention for #1. And it's only gotten worse since. I'm not sure about my poop list, though. Like, I've played some bad games this year, but, you know, I haven't played a lot of really bad games. I've played a lot of surprisingly really good games. Yes, I know about equipment. Thank you, game. Okay. Ring of Beauty, plus 25. Well, that has slightly more spirit, but it can be sold for a high price, allegedly. So we'll take that. The amulet's useless. And nothing better there, okay. But, yeah. I've played quite a few really good games this year. Oh, auto mod. There's nothing wrong there. You know, I've been thinking about trying to do a Let's Play of Lagoon because it's a bad game, but it's compellingly bad. Like, you play it, but you don't want to stop playing it because there's something about it that you just want to play more of. I want to play through Zack and New Gear as well. Those games are hard to find, though. The sad thing is there is ostensibly supposed to be an English version of New Gear out there that was supposed to be called, like, The Journey Home or something like that. And I'm sure if I knew anyone who could do, like, custom carts, they could probably make, like, a proper English one with a ROM on it to play. Zack was a game that I saw once and I thought it looked really cool, but I've never had a chance to play it. Secret of the Stars would be one I'd really like to try as well. That one looked pretty cool. There are so many really interesting looking PS3 games I haven't played yet. Speaking of, I've been thinking about what I need to do for my next Let's Play, and I've got a couple like PS3 imports, like Holy Umbrella would be a fun one. That's one I'd like to play again. And what was the other one? I had another one that I really wanted to try again. I've got a list. I have no idea why, but Automod wants to hit that word. But really, Sega stopped that release in the West because I swear I did see like an English, maybe not official version, but an English version. I don't care, Audacity, go away. I just want to access my stream potential LP list. Marvelous! Marvelous was the other SNES game I wanted to play. I think that'd be a great game to do as well. Because that's basically like Goof Troop, but with more puzzles. Yeah, no, I know. I just had to add those lines because for some reason the auto mod kicked in for that game title for some reason. I have a theory as to why, but it's just trying to like trigger to prevent people from saying things that are offensive, but like avoiding actually triggering it. So they say things that are like tangentially kind of like it as like a fake code or something, but it's weird. Automod's dumb. Oh yeah, Marvelous is way better than Goof Troop, hands down, but I actually only rented Goof Troop once and I hated it. And I feel bad about that because everyone tells me it's a good game. Alright. Hey, we got a trophy. Awesome. That I can't put on my account because every time I do, my PS3 crashes because Sega's online infrastructure is garbage. Okay, but you're slow, so I don't want to play as you. So I'm just not going to do that. Okay, let's... Revival Medicine. Can I go down there? Is there things down here? I mean, there's a pit, but there doesn't appear to be anything down here. What a disappointing pit. It's the pit of disappointment. I don't know, I put up a list of a few games I was thinking about streaming for Let's Plays on the Discord. I didn't really get much of a response. I had some people just suggest random nonsense that I don't own. Oh, hey, this is how I got those magic bubbles around me. Cool. Characters not being controlled may occasionally use magic. Oh, so they're actually going to be useful and supportive. Nice. Yeah, for sure. I think the Goof Troop game was more like a sequel to Pirate Ship Higemaru, from what I remember. But with more puzzles and less arcadiness. But I don't know. Okay, so you can pick up pillars, but I would have to be using you to do that, and I don't want to because you're the big slow character. Character what I don't want to actually play as. Freeze! Soul Burst! Alright. But Marvelous is definitely a game I've been thinking about making our next Let's Play. That one or Holy Umbrella. But I was also thinking maybe Mega Man Legends or Rocket Robot, because those are all great games. I've got too many games to pick from, and I can't make the decision. I'm not really getting any sense that I'm doing anything to this guy. Got fire, let's use that. Okay, there we go. That guy just has a stupid amount of... Okay, we got a bestiary. Let's take a look at that. Or as I called it when I was much, much younger, a beastery. Let's see. Where is the bestiary? I guess it'd be under data. Yeah, okay. Okay, for a minute I was like, okay, are you just showing me a picture? Because that is the most useless bestiary ever. A dead tree that has become animated, normally completely dormant, however, can awaken and attack, can adapt themselves, caution is advised. Okay, that's great. How much health does it have? I mean, I know I'm not exactly seeing damage numbers, but it would help to at least get a feel for what kind of damage they take. Like, it's good to know fire works well on tree, but... I will say this is probably the most enjoyable game that Omega Force has ever put out. I mean, it's pretty insubstantial, but that's still more than the Dynasty Warriors games tend to be. Ah, I thought I saw something over here. Long Sword of Severity. Well, let's see what we've got here. Equipped. Okay, causes damage. Okay, so this is what we had before. Except it doesn't decrease the speed. Okay, so basically the type of sword gives a basic thing. Like the Long Sword of Severity has the causes damage and break state thing. That seems to be a consistency. Everything else seems randomized, which I'm not sure I like that. But it is what it is. Okay, that's another one of those trees, isn't it? Doesn't seem that a sword could cut through this. How about fire? Okay, got a vial of morning dew. Bangle of renewal. Let's see what this can do. Okay, so this has more defense and recovery time after being incapacitated bonus. Okay. I don't think that's going to help me much unless my AI partner can revive me, but I guess we'll find out as we need it. Alright. Ah, snake ladies. Eat ice. I don't know how that affects you. I mean, you're cold-blooded, presumably, so it should work pretty well, but who knows? We don't exactly live in a world where science is a thing, as far as I know. Got another Ring of Severity. Alright. Okay. So we've got a couple of routes. I'm not really taking much damage right now. And I wonder if that has to do with, like, these magic orbs around me, or, like, I'm just not getting hit for very much, or what? Okay, now I'm taking damage. So, yeah, those orbs are just giving me some kind of defense, I guess. Let's take these guys out, because there's quite a few of them. Bangle of Proofing. Skills can be upgraded. Okay. So, upgrade... Okay. All skills can be upgraded twice. The amount required is presumably more each. Increase basic attack. Basic attack can increase up to 3 attacks. So basically, these are better. This is a bigger combo. Well, since I'm mostly sticking with physical attacks, I guess we'll use this. Sure. Do you share a pool? Let's find out. Yes. Okay, so SP is shared across all characters. I don't like that, but it is what it is. All right. There's clearly a path there, but there doesn't seem to be anything I can do about that. I guess we'll have to see if there's a route around there. There too. Interesting. Oh! I wish I hadn't used that special now. Alright. Okay, so this guy's a bit stronger than the other wolves, it looks like. Oh god, I'm actually in danger. That's not good, and I think I'm poisoned. That's suboptimal. Stop shooting lasers at me, you stupid wolf things. Phew, okay, there we go. We didn't die. We almost died. We didn't die. But we almost died. But we didn't die. Guess this is a save point. It might be worth saving right here, just in case we die, because I don't know how the revive system actually works in terms of being in an alternate area. It seems to restart us at either where we start in the area or at the start of the mission, which is a bit of a setback, to say the least. Okay. Let's hit that with some fire magic right through here and see where this goes. It seems like this is an alternate path that might have some fun little things. Like some snake ladies. Oh, and a big tree. Good, good, good. I like these trees, except I don't. I hate them with a passion. Harold, your cousins suck. And this is why people shoot nukes at you. And finish that quest off real fast. Alright, there we go. At least we took out that tree rather quickly. Those guys have an inordinate sum of health. Okay, let's grab this. We've got the Rusty Ring of Brimstone. Sounds like it would increase some kind of fire ability. Let's find out. Yeah, decreases fire damage received. Increases damage of fireball. Okay. That seems like that might actually be rather useful. Bangle of Proofing. Immunity in... blah, blah, blah. Right, let's try that again. Immunity to combustion and being frozen. Plus a defense increase. Yeah, I'll take that, sure. And we'll give this guy severity and amulet. There. Now you've got a bit of a stat buff. Oh, and we got another one of these guys. But I have an increase to my fire damage, so this guy's going to go down real fast. Probably not, but I can pretend like that's going to happen. I noticed that he's not catching fire. That's concerning. There we go. Alright, good, 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 good. I guess I should probably ask right now, like, if I increase my teammates' abilities, but I'm not playing as them, like, is there a benefit to that? Like, if I'm only going to play as one of the 3 characters, like, should I just focus on his abilities, or, like my teammate does seem to buff when I'm, like, not playing as him. So he does seem to have some use. Question is, how far does that extend outside of his play? Oh, that's a Chimera. It's a really ugly Chimera. Well done. Okay, well the Rush Line's attacking with an ice attack will stun the Manticore. Okay, it's a Manticore, not a Chimera. Leave me alone. It's been a while since I've played Fantasy. I don't think that's actually true. I've been playing a lot of Fantasy lately. I can't hit him with magic while I'm in the air. Oh yeah, I can. Okay, it's awkward, but I can do it. Okay, so we definitely just want to dump magic. There doesn't seem to be like any sort of MP system, so there's not really a reason not to just spam magic if that's your bag. Hey, there's a thing here that I can't pick up. Okay, timing it with this sort of action window thing is a little awkward. Okay, we can do this, so let's see what kind of damage that does to him. That's a decent chunk of his health bar. Okay, that looks bad. Let's see what he does with this. Okay, well I can hit you with ice, or I can try to. The hitting with that is really awkward when... Oh, it's actually just straight up awkward. This guy's got a weird hitbox, but... Basically, I have to use it before that ring of attack actually, like, exists, because of the time it takes to cast is just gonna miss. Okay. I think the ideal thing to do is cast, swap, and like hit him with like heavier attacks from my teammate, because when he did that, it seemed to do a lot of damage. Problem is, I don't want to play as my teammate. He's the big slow guy. And out of all the archetypes for characters in action games, the big slow guy is always the last character I want to play as. Like, in pretty much every situation, I never want to play as the big slow guy. That's just not how I roll. I will take a decrease of damage to play faster. Ow. Okay. Items. Restores HP to full. Take that. Should probably actually use items at some point. Roll. I really wish I could extend the hitbox of my ice attack a little and increase the cast speed and just make it better in all regards. Roll. There we go. Yeah, I definitely have to hit you with ice to knock you out of that. The problem is that the timing for it's a real pain in the ass. I will say there's definitely a flaw to this system. That flaw being that casting magic and having to fight an aerial enemy, everything about how this works doesn't really work. There we go. There. Okay, that was a little unpleasant, I'm not gonna lie. But that's because trying to cast while in the air doesn't really work, and timing with that ring doesn't really work either. Whew. So you're a moron. Got it. Yeah, it kind of is about as messy as the battles in Dragon's Dogma, but no matter how messy the battles in Dragon's Dogma were, it still had a sense that you were progressing steadily, one way or another. And there was also the advantage of being able to skip about half the game if you played one specific boss battle right in Dragon's Dogma. Okay, scroll return. So that'll get us back home quickly. If we want to take that way, it might not be wise to do that. Charity Glasses Extract, which I believe was a mission thing. There's a path here, but I can't for the life of me see it. And there's a chest over here. Got the revival medicine. I do appreciate that the ice flows that we created still seem to actually persist. That's kind of cool. Appreciate that. But let's use the scroll of return and go home. Okay, so I want to go to this place. So far, this isn't a bad game. I would think out of everything Omega Force has made, this is probably the most competent and creative game they've made. I'm not sure how much that actually speaks to them, though, given that they're Omega Force, but you know. Okay, so let's turn in some quests, make some money. Okay, collecting these set amount, the venture gears, okay. No idea where this is, though. Didn't get any information, but we did that. I definitely wouldn't say this is the worst RPG on the system. It's not great. I'd say it's middling, but it would definitely be a decent time killer so far. So let's see if we can buy some stuff. Long Sword of Ice causes damage to self. Well, I'm not going to bother with that. Although ice damage to attack would be pretty good. Not really seeing anything I need. Okay. Can we go do the arena now? Goblin Archer Battle. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so that's the registration fee, not the payout. That's weird. It's weird that you have to pay to enter the arena, and like I figured they would have listed that based on the payout. That's what I thought that money was, but no. That's just, this is what you have to pay to do this fight, which is a little weird to me. Oh well. Okay. I'm playing a lot more of that Outbound Ghost. That was a pretty fun game. I finished the first chapter of it so far. It's quite good. I'm playing a lot of Legend of Heroes as well, and that's been quite a lot of fun. I wouldn't say this is better than either of those games. But, you know, I've been playing a lot of fun RPGs lately. Okay, so we did that arena thing. Now does that... Ah, so that does end that thing. Okay. So, I assume that there's a reason why we actually want to actively do this, and other than the prize. I'm guessing that there's probably an advantage to clearing as many of these quests as we possibly can. We do seem to be getting some experience. That's a plus. I'd like to use some fire on these bird ladies, because they seem like they'd be very ice element. And now you've caught fire, which leads me to think I'm right. Not a big fan of all the archers that they want to surround us with. That's a bit rough. That said, you know, this feels like a rougher, less interesting Drakengard. That's not to say it's not fun, but I'm not saying this is a must-have title either. It would be one that's kind of interesting to talk about because, again, no one has this game. But, you know, I've got other games on the system that would also cover that. Yeah, I'm playing through Trails of the Sky right now. Vermilion sent it to me last year, and I've been intimidated by it. But I've been very excited to give it a shot, and I've been playing through it pretty heavily. I've got about 50 hours or so into it. I think that'll probably be my next review, spoilers, but it's been a lot of fun. I would like to get the second and third ones, as I just yesterday learned that they were available on Steam. And I can't afford that, but I will say for the volume of content and quality you get for them, that is a ridiculous amount of quality and stuff for $30. That's a good price. Is the second one double as long as the first one? I'm gonna have to get those. I can't afford them. I'm gonna need them at some point. I'm curious how solid the localization is, because the original was already localized before they brought it to Steam. I don't think the others were, though. Because I'm pretty sure that only the first one ever made it to the PSP. Still, I really lament that I have as little experience with Falcom as I do. Because they really did invent my favorite genre, the action RPG. And while they are a series, or a developer that really doesn't have much of a budget, they always focus on the world building, the story, and the gameplay, as opposed to, like, the presentation, which, to me, is the shit that actually matters. So while they don't have much of a budget, they kind of completely, like, dunk on stuff like Skyrim and whatever that has an infinitely bigger budget that just makes such a small-feeling world. Like, I was genuinely surprised that they made all these, like, NPCs have different names and lives and stuff. Like, they made them with about, like, every NPC has, like, the kind of detail you'd expect from a, like, hero character. And I'm just so floored about that. Like, I think, oh god, my controls are backwards now. That's not good. Like, I think I'm a really big fan of the Trails series, and I want to play them all now. Unfortunately, from what I see, they don't put their games on sale terribly often, and they don't use huge discounts. Like, I eventually caved and bought Ys 7. Not that I've had a chance to play it, but it's like the best deal they ever gave was, like, I think 30% off or something like that. Either way, I want to get the other Trails in the Sky games for sure. It's been a lot of fun just to sit down and plug away at them for a review. It's eaten like 2 weeks of my life. It's been a lot of fun. I think they're probably gonna end up on my Game of the Year list this year. But yeah, well, that's the thing. You don't have to have a huge budget to have a good game. The trick is to focus on what matters. They don't have a huge budget, so they can't put it all into presentations, so they end up making games that focus on the story and the game. But it feels like they, and I've said this in what I've got for my review so far, it feels like they've got like a almost dedicated lore person for every single NPC just to keep their like life stories in line, for just the fact that like every character seems to have a running life that you can interact with, and it's so fascinating to me. It's a very cool series, and I want to play all of them now. I actually do have Cold Steel 1 and 2 on the PS4. I've never finished Cold Steel 1. I think I'm like 80% the way through, and I just kind of stopped. But I'd like to play the second one at some point and get the others as well. Alright, travel to Dwarf Kingdom. I guess we're doing that thing. But yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with what Falcom has done. Longsword of Vampire. Restore... Ooh. Yeah, I want that. What sort of... Okay, so I get to heal with my attacks. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Obviously, I want that. Bangle Focus. Immunity to Confusion. That's not bad. Increases quality of items found. Yeah, I want that too. There we go. Let's go to the Adventurers Guild and see if we can pick up some new quests. Get some plot I don't care about, because the plot doesn't seem that important. Okay, so we gotta search for Kaylee. Rescue Rodrigue. Is there any reason to say no, I don't want these quests? Because I feel like there's no reason to do that. Okay. Okay, so there's someone at the tavern who... Something, something, adventure, something, something, something. Okie doke. These characters look really ugly. Okay, so tavern. Edgard. That's not a name. That's like you took someone's actual name and then just added an extra letter just to make it sound fancy. So where am I going? I probably should have paid attention to that. Oh well. Alright, let's go on an adventure. Do some adventuring things. Underground roads. They dug too greedily and too deeply. And now we have to go adventure there. And fight a Balrog. Weird camera angles. I do not care for them. Okay. This is glowing, but... Why is this rock glowing? Okay. Well, there doesn't seem to be... There's paths there, but I can't go anywhere. What's up with that? Guess we're taking these side road things. Ooh! Some kind of dragon people. Let's go. Whoa. Camera does not like this area very much. Okay, these guys use ice, so let's try sticking to fire. Dark lizard. Okay, so let's pop open the bestiary and take a look and see if you're weak to fire. No, you're weak to lightning, and I don't have that. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just gonna smack you a whole bunch then. Okay, that's actually a lot easier to use than the ice in mid-air, but you shouldn't use magic in mid-air in general, I feel. Pick up. Got a greenish stone. For whatever that's worth. Eat fireballs. Alright. Okay. Making progress. Large mushrooms growing along give off spores. When hit, enemies touched will be either hit with confusion, paralysis, or paralysis. Paralysis, that's the word. Thanks, brain. Okay, so you said enemies will be affected by it. Is it just enemies? Is it something I have to worry about? Is there a negative reason for standing near them? Or is it just stand next to it and keep whacking it because there's no consequences to that action? You're not giving me a lot of information to work with, game. I would prefer you give me more, not less. Okay, this guy seems to have some kind of lightning ability, so that's good. You're on lightning duty, buddy. With whatever that lightning nonsense you've got is. Okay, so that's a glowy. Ooh, some kind of weird toad-looking thing. Okay. Can't hit it with that. Lightning. Okay, you handle. I know you want me to swap to him, game. I refuse to take part in this. Okay, you take care of him, buddy. I'm trusting you as an AI to do it. You are a computer made of numbers. Figure this shit out. Actually, for what it's worth, he made the effort. It didn't connect properly, but he made the effort. Oh, that's good. The guy that I need to actually do this is now turned to rock. Okay. Okay, so that does wear off after a while. That's good. That's not an instant failure state, I guess. Okay, you're definitely hitting him with that lightning, so I don't know why it's... Let's just try using this on him. Okay, that does seem to actually do something. Okay. But, like, if we've hit him to the point where we've broken his scales, he should still take damage afterwards. Doesn't make sense that he'd immediately gain his resistances again. That doesn't make a lot of logical sense. Okay, I just want you to handle it, AI. If you can do that, do it. Alright. Gonna go this way. See what's over here. These guys also need lightning. So start doing your lightning-y thing. I'm not necessarily sure I like that the game is actively forcing you to really need to swap. Like, the AI kind of tries to handle things, but it doesn't do it with any degree of real competency. I think they definitely want you to actively be controlling the characters to utilize the weaknesses, but the thing is, each character plays fundamentally differently, and I don't really gel with big, heavy characters, as I've said. So, I'm not really sure how... Oh, okay, this guy's new. You're using fire. Ice? Yep, that seemed to work. Hit it with ice and smack it a whole bunch. I like that design. The glowy blue there is very stylish. I'm just going to break you now. Thank you. Appreciate the cooperation in breaking. There we go. Okay. What's over here? Whole bunch of bats. Oh, shoot. Okay. Alright. Okay. I think we're good. We took out the bats. Got some spirit water, whatever that is. I will say that this game doesn't really do loot with any degree of excitement. It doesn't feel like the weapons are particularly special or anything. Like, it doesn't help that the stats and abilities seem to be kind of randomized based on a base model. Nor does it seem like the actual weapon models are really different in any meaningful way. Ow. Okay, I need to heal. Fortunately, I have that power. Okay. Got some money, I think. I'm pretty sure that's money anyway. You're down. I thought I saw another bat, but I guess we took care of it. Ow. Nope. There it is. Okay, Mr. Lightning Butt, do lightning. Okay, so yes, we can just smack the status affliction mushroom forever and not take damage. Fine, I'll do it this way. What is lightning? There it is. Punch! God, this guy's so slow. I care not for the wind-up this guy's got. Like, it plays so much better than letting the AI do it, but this is not a character that gels with my playstyle at all. Oh, he's so slow. There, I saved you. That's fine. I'm fine with continuing to explore. That's kind of my whole thing, guy. But I expect greater payment because this was not part of the arrangement. Okay, so... this is not the way we need to go, I'm sure, but I'm sure there's also stuff to collect, so... got a mage's scroll. Is that a... I think that's a quest item. No. Mage's scroll. Requires an expert in the field. Okay. But maybe that'll give us some kind of, like, magic upgrade or something. Nothing here, though. Okay. Let's keep going. I feel like I should be able to jump on this and bounce really high. You can tell I played way too much Skylanders. Okay, so we got more of these blue dragon guys. Got plenty of SP, but I don't really see a lot of benefit to using it, because I don't know if the AI would actually benefit from using any of this stuff, given how kind of inept it is. I wonder if there's a way to just upgrade the support abilities they have, because if there is, that might be beneficial, maybe. Okay, there's a lot of these bats around. Let's see if we can do something with that. Alright. So we're making progress. Okay, which way looks like it's longer? Looks like the north path is longer, so let's go south. Maybe that's longer. The trick is figuring out which path is the way you're supposed to go, and then picking the exact opposite route. And that's how you be a good adventurer. I do appreciate how significant attacks feel in this game compared to, you know, everything else Omega Force makes, you know. It feels like your attacks actually carry weight and do damage and have impact, which is, you know, something they could implement in Dynasty Warriors, but they kind of just don't. That said, you know, this game is a fairly standard kind of dungeon crawler kind of experience. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's worth the sort of rare cost it seems to command either, but why can I not do this special? There we go. Oh, that didn't actually kill everything. I thought that would have killed everything, but it did not. Still, I don't think this game is fantastic. It's not a bad little time kill, I guess. I know it's not a huge compliment, but I mean, that's more than I would say about the Dynasty Warriors games. Different kind of game, too, for what it's worth. We would have been a good team, except that the game forces me to play as you, and I don't like that so much. I'm just going to avoid you, Basilisk. Because you're not worth the effort. But maybe there'll be some loot around here. And maybe that loot will be. I don't think I actually need to protect this guy. I think he's basically invulnerable, but... Okay, so you're fire. Even though you're blue, which to me reeks of being ice. Well, to be fair, you know, fire can be blue. It tends to be more hot than standard red fire, of course. I learned about that in junior high when I had to play with a Bunsen burner for science class. Got another old magic scroll, so now we don't have to fight these basilisks. Run! I don't want to deal with these guys because they're gimmicky and obnoxious. Don't make things too gimmicky is the trick. Because these guys actively punish the fact that I'm not playing the specific character they want me to. And I don't like that. Like, if you want to give an advantage to one of the characters over another, that's one thing. But when you actively punish not playing with them, that's a problem. Oh, come on. There we go. A little bit more SP. What are the skills I can implement here to increase? Wow, that's a lot more SP needed. And that's only to make a 5-hit combo. And that's as upgraded as my melee gets, is 5-hit combo. And it's not like I'm getting any sort of indication that my attacks are doing more damage or, you know, my attacks are actually more effective, for what it's worth. I'm not saying I need numbers to tell me how much damage I'm doing, but I would like to at least get some sort of active indicator that I'm doing damage to my opponents. That was the problem with the trees. I felt like I wasn't doing anything to it. Skull Crusher. That feels like a weapon of some kind. Okay, U. That means it's unique. Decreased speed of normal attacks invokes confusion. And it's plus 29 damage, so that's pretty good. Okay, I think I have to take it back. I think I did say that weapon models don't change. This does seem to actually have a different weapon model. So it could be we just got a bunch of the same type of longsword or something, because it's early or something. That's good, though. That's a small thing in the long run, to have your weapon change, like, the physical model, depending on what weapon you have equipped. But I freaking love that. It's a thing that tells me someone actually took time and effort into this, and it does make everything feel just a little bit better, you know? I love when weapon models change. Oh, and I've confused this guy. That's cool. What was the worst RPG on the PS3? I know Cross Edge would be up there. What was that one game? I can't even think of what it was called. I think it's called, like, Forgotten Legion or something like that. It was a weird RPG. I think the Trinitys were, like, weird cameo characters in it for some reason. I don't think anyone really played it too much. I'm gonna have to look it up now. Okay, screw it. This is gonna bother me. I'm gonna look it up right now. What is that game I'm thinking of? I'll just go to my game list because I own it. Go to PS3. Let's see if I can find it. What is that game called? Because it's going to bother me forever if I don't figure it out. I've got a lot of PS3 games. Where is it? X-Troopers. That game's good. Last Rebellion. That's the game I'm thinking of. That game was crap. And part of me wants to play it again just because it was crap. I just remember that game being... It was definitely an N1 RPG where, like, if your stats didn't hit an exact specific threshold, you did 0 damage to everything. I don't know why they do things like that. Like, I respect the games having, like, huge damage and, like, stat thresholds, but the fact that if you don't hit specific thresholds, you just do nothing, that's never sat well with me. I don't know. They had a bunch of PS3 games, though, that they put out. Like I said, that the point where I stopped collecting all the PS3 games was like that one year where they released 8 different games. They just, for some reason, decided to go crazy and release a whole bunch of stuff at once. And it was just a bit too much for me. Because I don't have a lot of money. I don't seem to be causing confusion too readily. Does it say what on the weapon the confusion rate is? Because I feel like it should. No, it just says invokes confusion level 3. What does that mean, though? Like, what's the statistical importance of it being level 3? Like, okay, it's more than level 2. Sure, I can follow that. But, like, is level 3, like, a 10% chance? 20%? 50%? What's on the table exactly? This game feels like it leaves out key information that would be useful for making an informed decision. Which kind of takes away a lot of agency in what you do. Okay, so this will actually loop back around. I don't care to fight you, Mr. Basilisk. What is up over here? Got a small chest. Bear claws! You probably don't want to eat them. They've been in that chest for far too long. And they're probably very stale and moldy. I'm actually not a bear claw kind of person. I like curlers, or, you know, because I'm 4, I like the donuts that have the rainbow sprinkles on them. Also, anything covered in chocolate. Those are my kind of donuts. I used to be really into eclairs when I was younger. I had a local bakery that made a really nice eclair. Actually, what's really sad is my local bakery had like the best cookies ever, and they got bought out. And I think the people who bought them still have the same recipes, but I don't think they make the same cookie recipes, and I don't think they're willing to like just give you the recipes. But they made this really nice like cookie sandwich that was like 2 chocolate shortbreads with like some kind of cream in the middle, and then it was just coated in chocolate. And I've never been able to find those cookies anywhere else, and they were like so ridiculously good. And they were like the size of your hand. They were huge. They were also really expensive though. Well, don't worry, buddy. I've got +3 confusion, whatever that actually means. Oh, I got knocked out. It looks like we'll revive once that health bar fills up. So really, as long as you can keep one character alive, you're never in any real danger of getting knocked out. Ah, but my damage is capped. So I actually can't heal to full. I'm guessing if I get knocked out again, it'll get like knocked down even further. It's playing by Demon Souls rules, basically. Okay. That's interesting to know. Where did he go? It's over here. Alright. Bop, 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 bops. I don't like that move. It's not like I can't avoid it, it's just annoying. When we're playing melee characters, and you create a giant wall around you. There we go. We killed the Beholder. Or the Diet knockoff Beholder, or whatever. What sort of stats does that guy have? Like, is he particularly weak to anything? Gazer. He is weak to hitting with swords, I guess. Which is kind of obnoxious because, again, he makes a giant wall of lightning around him where being a melee character would really suck to fight. But either way, we did the quest. I think you're developing a nemesis there, big guy. Okay, so let's go turn in some quests. Okay, so you're looking for rare nonsense, sure. But does that actually, is that flavor and you're just wasting time? Or is that like something that's going to come up in my life? This game is being slightly racist. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. Okay, do we have other quests? Okay, we did that. We did that. Oh, we gotta do it in different areas. Okay, so we actually have quite a lot of quests. So I think we gotta go talk to the guy at the tavern to move on. Scroll Seeker. I have some scrolls. Did they just use a text box where they used first as in #1 ST? Because that doesn't make sense in the context of someone saying that. Alright, well, we made some money. That's a plus. Got some experience. Alright, and we've been doing this for about 2 hours, so I think we've got at least a vague idea of what this weird game that, as far as I know, no one else ever really played. It's kind of a hacky slashy dungeon crawler. Loot's fairly underwhelming, but it does have at least a fun-ish combo system. I don't like how much it really wants to sort of shove each character as playable in your face, given the fact that, you know, there's clearly 3 different characters that have 3 different playstyles, and if even one of them doesn't really gel with you, you're kind of screwed. Given that the AI, it kind of tries to compensate if it has, like, an applicable bonus against enemies, but it doesn't really do it with any degree of competency. If they made the AI better, that would have probably helped, but at the same time, at that point, you might just end up relying entirely on them because it's too good. It's tricky, but the problem is that requiring you to swap to different characters when every character plays different, you know, if one of those doesn't gel with you, it's just not going to be fun times, and, you know, case in point, while I was making a lot more progress, having swapped to the guy with the lightning abilities, it was slow and it was plodding, and I did not enjoy anything about that. Also, this game's got a really bizarre filter over the camera, which is strange. But it's not a bad game. I think out of all the games Omega Force has ever put out, it's probably the one I've enjoyed the most, for what little that means. Yeah, this is just a weird entry into my PS3 library. Not a bad game, mind you, but it's certainly not a great one. I don't think it's worth a huge sum of money. But, you know, if you could get it for 20, 30 bucks, maybe. But I think that will be it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, follow the stream to know we go live, because we're trying to stream as often as possible. I'm not sure if we'll be back tonight, but we should be back tomorrow with some Skylanders, and maybe some more stuff if we have the time, we'll see. You might also want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff. Just put out a review for Cubivore, the game that the GameCube forgot, because it is like the most obscure GameCube game ever made, and one of the most valuable as well, apparently. But that's an interesting game, and you should go check out that video. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability, which in this case is explore some of the weirder titles in my PS3 library. And I've got a few more that are just very strange and no one really plays or talks about. So, you know, if there's interest, maybe I'll do more weird PS3 stuff. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace out, Internet.